just one day before January 6th. A date forever shared in our memory because it was on that day that we nearly lost America. Lost it all. 3 years ago tomorrow, we saw with our own eyes the violent mob storm the United States Capitol. It was almost in disbelief as you first turned on the television. For the first time in our history, insurrectionists had come to stop the peaceful transfer of power in America. First time.
Get used to that. It's what we'll be hearing from Joe Biden and his socialist surrogates from now until November. If, in the interim, one of his in-house lawyers corrupting the federal and state criminal justice systems is able to get a case to members of the View studio audience masquerading as juries in New York, D.C., or Atlanta, then Biden may add convicted felon to his description of the looming MAGA dictatorship. Is that all Biden has, or what he actually wants? The all he has argument is strong. A recent survey found nearly 8 in 10 likely voters believe or suspect the big guy is culpable in baby boy Hunter's corrupt schemes. The numbers on his mental capacity, handling of the economy, and the border are similar. A supermajority of voters believe Biden is a senile kleptocrat who's making America less prosperous, less safe, and frankly, less of a country. That's not much to run on, so he has to make Trump box office poison, thus the save our democracy from MAGA extremist proposition. Biden will, of course, sprinkle in generic jargon about the wonders brought about by his runaway spending in an attempt to give the appearance of actual accomplishments. That may play if you're a road builder or electric vehicle battery producer, but Americans are buying Bidenomics at about the same rate they're buying EVs. So again, the only play for Biden is to pursue the imprisonment of Trump and at least some of his supporters. But what if it's what he really wants, regardless of the political environment? To put it another way, would Biden be using the exact same messaging if people felt secure economically and he was cruising to re-election? The answer is yes, and the motivation for Biden's messaging and conduct in furtherance of his messaging, beyond political survival, matters. Biden is a company man, and the business of the neo-Jacobins who control his party, just as it was the original Jacobins in France, is the annihilation of political dissent. They are not here to burn the village to save the village. They're just here to burn the village. Who stood up an Orwellian board to patrol speech within the Department of Homeland Security? Who had law enforcement and intel agencies collude with big tech companies to control information flow? Who imposes gender and race politics on you in your workplace, on your kid in his school, and even on the family in your home? Who is resegregating classrooms? Who is taking down statues and renaming public spaces? Who is monitoring the church attendance of Catholics and storming the home of a pro-life activist in rural Pennsylvania for the crime of being pro-life? Who turned over America's streets and campuses to the violence of every illiberal group of the moment? Antifa, Black Lives Matter, Hamas sympathizers? Who demonized Border Patrol agents and National Guardsmen with false accounts and lionize people who break into our country with equally false accounts? In short, who diluted the rights of their countrymen and invented rights for outside interlopers and internal seditionists? Their message is clear, and I say their because there is no message without amplification by the DC press corps and other cultural mavens. The message? If you deviate from the Biden orthodoxy, you are to be punished. If you persist, you are to be destroyed. Biden's is a campaign to achieve compulsory unification of opinion, which, as Supreme Court Justice Robert Jackson observed in the West Virginia State Board of Education versus Barnett decision, the compulsory unification of opinion achieves only the unanimity of the graveyard. They launched this war of choice long ago. Recall Biden in 2012 when Team Joe Obama was seeking its second term. He declared, if elected, Mitt Romney, warm milk in human form, would install a dictatorship of Wall Street bankers and, for good measure, also reintroduce slavery.
They're going to put you all back in chains.
You know, because he's Simon Legree in a Brooks Brothers suit. This will be remembered as so much milquetoast patty caking compared to what's coming as the same crew seeks its fourth term. The trial run for the current effort came right after Labor Day in 2022. Biden, doing his best Darth Sidious impersonation, claimed, and I'm quoting, MAGA Republicans do not respect the Constitution. They do not believe in the rule of law. And they're working right now as I speak in state after state to give power to decide elections in America to partisans and cronies, empowering election deniers to undermine democracy itself. With that, Biden and his merry band of Robespierres avoided the political guillotine in the midterm elections. Thus, who's to say he can't do it again with hypercharged hysterics even more over the top than those offered previously, given the boogeyman himself, Donald, Hitler, Stalin, Mussolini, Pol Pot, Idi Amin, Robert Mugabe, Trump, is on the ballot this time around. It may be all Biden has, but it's also what he wants. I'm Dan Proft with the Counterculture Commentary. Please like this video and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And please leave a comment in the comment section. We'd love to hear your thoughts.